for the game, and this is a hero that Z-Freak is very good at classically. So I see good potential. In terms of the delineating stage, maybe it won't be the easiest. Excuse me, against Chaos Knight and IO, but I think they should be able to do just fine.
All right, well, we're off to a bit of a quiet start here. Do have some aggression coming out against Moo. Just gonna force him back and have him use some of that regen right off the bat.
Yeah, this is something that
EG likes to do often is pressure the off-lane hero. They might even hit him a little bit more here. Now they're going to go back to the wave to block it a bit.
They often
pressure the offlaner as they approach, since you can't aggro those creeps anymore. And this gives them a little bit of a regen advantage here. Going to be a little harder for Beastmaster to get to his Home of Iron Will.
So how likely is it? So, you know, we have this puck over here in the mid lane. Abed most likely going to want to perform ganks, especially once he gets that Dream Coil online, but you don't want to leave your tower open for a Dragon Knight. So are we going to see a rotation 3-6? Try to slow him down a little bit, or do you think they just don't really care as much?
I don't think it's that important for him to slow down Dragon Knight. It's more like somebody needs to be in the lane at all times, if possible. That way, if nobody's in the lane, then he pushes your creep wave really quick, and he does tower damage. If they leave it empty, he can accomplish that. But if you put somebody like Windranger in the mid lane, you don't necessarily get killed. You can counter push the wave with Power Shot potentially, and then you won't get as much damage on the tower.
I like how we're seeing these just different, they're lanes, but they're not lanes, right? They're just dragging them over into weird portions of the jungle.
It's very important
in this Monkey King matchup against Timbersaw, because Timber does not want to lane against Monkey King because he gets all of these Shingu hits and then uses that to basically zone out or kill Timbersaw a bunch and limit his level gain. If you can pull the creep wave like this, it'll get you some levels, and then your lane ends up going okay once you get enough points in reactive armor.
So the little anti-synergistic, I'm trying to say that word, anti-synergistic. I think that's still wrong, but you say it?
Anti-synergistic.
Yeah, that's it. Oh my god, my brain.
That is a tough one, yeah.
But is it, you know, that sort of offset when you have something like the Windranger? Oh, hold that thought. A little bit more pressure being placed on Moo. When you have the Windranger and you have a Timbersaw, right? Because you need to have things to latch for, and I know that's a big deal. We've heard a couple people discuss the idea of, oh, that's a great shackle, actually. You don't need to worry about trees when you have, you know, heroes that line up like a little duck in a row like that. But you know, you do have Nightfall, who's going to want to Timber change trees, and you've got Chris, who's going to want to, you know, attach and get these shackles going. Is that something that they have to be hyper aware of?
I think it's not
as bad as the Hoodwink one. I believe Shackle stays on somebody even if you cut the tree that they're latched on, whereas with Hoodwink, if you cut the tree, it interrupts it.
So that one's
the bigger problem. I think it'll be fine here.
All you gotta do.
You're aiming for double hero shackles in most cases anyways. Husky gets a D-ward here for the small camp, which is great. Can prevent that. Ooh, he's a winner at a bad time too. Okay, he'll be fine.
He's all right. I know that, I think it was Fogged who was saying, we have Nova. Slow down a little bit, and again, Crystal Main, slower hero. Not going to be able to quite close the gap, especially not with the Windrun back up on crit, so.
I mean, if he got
in the Frostfire range, he definitely gets the kill, so it was a good attempt. Pop two mangoes for that, and Crit's going to TP back to base, actually, so probably the right thing to do. He would have been out of the lane for way too long. This will cost him a lot, and it's fine, honestly, for his Timber to be in a 1v1 now anyways, because he's got 2 points in reactive, so this is totally fine for EG here.
That's gonna make his way back over to the lane, try to
put
a little pressure, but yeah, bottom lane again. Moo, I feel like he's escaped death several times now. It's not looking like he's gonna escape this time around. One more hit, first blood goes over to Arteezy, but they do manage to get the kill on a courier.
Yeah, it's a tough lane there, especially with that Orb of Venom that Arteezy picked up. I mean, he's got this huge mobility advantage. He doesn't have to worry about out-trading the Beastmaster anyway, so now he just gets to chase him with the power of the IO speed and the heal. So, a little cost change there by picking up the Orb of Venom, but it's absolutely perfect in this game because it's going to give him a bunch of kills.
A little bit of pressure being placed over onto Gunner, and we're losing a couple more couriers here. Nice courier also going to be murdered in that lane. It's going to make things a little bit more difficult.
It is. And this is the one thing that's tough. I guess Mirana can snipe couriers, but this dual lane isn't really strong at all. The Beastmaster plus Mirana one, there's no setup for the arrow, so all he's doing is playing conventional support here, and maybe he can land some arrows once in a while, but now here's the pressure on Moo again.
just a little bit. Just thinking in terms of, you know, the IO wanting to be able to, you know, feed this this regen, right, over to his core. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult when you don't have... Oh, all right, that's a good arrow. There we go. So not the strongest lane, but if you can line up the arrow, it works out just fine here.
Yeah, RTZ
got a little aggressive there to beat on Moo, but they kind of just fought him back towards the tower, and then Zefrid happens to land the arrow. So really nicely done there. RTZ a little bit overconfident perhaps with the regen coming out of IO, and IO tried to save him, but it was just too much damage.
Making out that they've dropped some vision over here on the side. And Zefrid just trying to mess around a little bit. Turn back around, though they realize, all right, there's no one here to babysit Moo, so maybe we can get ourselves a retaliation kill. The slow, though, coming out from Husky will ensure that Moo stays alive. He's hiding over into the tree line. They'll turn back around, and that's a kill on crit.
It was a little scary.
For Moo. I mean, they basically went on crit at the same time that RTZ was beating up on Moo, but they didn't land the frostbite into arrow. Crit ends up staying alive, and that's why Moo is in so much trouble there, because then they get the collapse with no spells up. But with Gunner rotating, it secures the kill, and now the tower pressure offsets what Puck would have accomplished, right? Puck would have counter pushed this. Well, Gunner gets a successful rotation and some tower damage in while forcing glitch. Pretty nice rotation.
Definitely efficient, and you want to put that pressure down over on that safe lane area. Chaos Knight, you know, he's gotten, you know, better over time. He used to be very difficult to kind of farm up using this here if he fell too far back, but
middle tower is under attack.
Still is a little bit vulnerable.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Great push there. And the rotation lined up with the catapult too, so they just got an absolutely insane amount of damage. His Dragonite ultimate's still going, by the way. Great rotation that opens up the bot lane, and now Beastmaster can play whatever game he wants.
Well, Nightfall's found himself a Monkey King. Cuts down the tree. Abed's here. They're looking to make a murder happen, and they'll find it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And Arcane too. So a little bit of mana for his teammates. So Nightfall basically has unlocked his game at this point. Despite Monkey King having a little bit more net worth, the only tough thing is that the catapult's already dead. So they won't also get the tower with this. So maybe they can TP back up here with a couple heroes and kill or limit Timber. But we'll see.
I feel like whenever Nightfall has a really good laning stage, things go a lot easier for EG.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
He pretty much always has a good laning stage, though.
Because he tends to be a little bit more like on the greedier side of things. And we are seeing a trend in the greedier offlaners, right? We've been seeing things with Amar especially. But I feel like if his lane does not go as well, EG really struggles to get back online.
That is true. I don't know too many cases where Nightfall has a rough laning stage, so I gotta say. I know they had a disappointing performance at the major, but keep in mind that they did equally as well in the group stages. Like Beast Coast just qualified and then played amazing afterwards. Like EG was close to winning a lot of their games. Is the point that I'm trying to make. So they still did well in their DPC regions, and so far off to a good start here. So
I think it'll be fine.
Especially with their roster swap. I think it'll make things a little bit safer for sure.
Yeah, definitely interested to see what Fly can do with this team. I know in a lot of the interviews they talked about saying, you know, it seemed like they had a little bit of a lack of a strong leadership voice prior to this. So Fly definitely fits the bill on that.
I can see that.
I know there were some cases where OG in the past said that Jerks was a little bit of a quiet player. I remember there was the TI finals where he got very vocal and they talked about it. I believe it was a game he played Rubik. So I assume it was one of those cases where he was playing his game, but it didn't quite mesh with everybody else's. And as a result, they just made less things happen typically throughout a game, and it meant less energy. And that's just not something you can put up with these days.
While still winning games.
It's definitely hard, especially in the NA region, right? I think that's also been a complaint that we've heard from a lot of different players, is that we just don't have enough captains in the NA region. So
it sometimes matters, yeah. So.
Yep. A lot of very talented players, but sometimes you just need that extra component to unlock them completely.
Well, game's pretty close
right now. Nouns are keeping it even on net worth. A lot of jungling coming in. Gunner did use his Elder Dragon form to jungle previously, but he got an Arcane Rune with it, so completely fine. And he's still playing top in case they do want to get an option on killing Nightfall here. He gets a little too aggressive.
But he's got a nice ward.
That's going to help spot when these rotations come in.
Right down the tree, though. A little bit of a power shot. It's just a bit of harass.
They're gonna definitely go for.
D wards now because of that. Because he definitely saw Monkey King jump over.
As a result of that cut.
They're checking. They're checking for the first one.
See if they get it.
We'll see if they get it.
Ward snipe would be a
This ward snipe would be a big deal because that means rotating on Nightfall will be more likely later.
Radiant's bottom tower
Seeing a little bit of a jump over here onto the puck, but they need more lockdown. And with Fly being there to be able to just heal him back, not sure they're going to be able to do enough. Moo also joining in, has his little Pinecone Warrior, but
That's a pretty good one.
That's a pretty good one to take early on, actually. Still decent body, has good magic resistance and everything. And yeah, he can farm as well and push.
You fought and died with honor.
trying to put a little bit of pressure here over on the mid-tower area. But it's just making a lot of space here for Arteezy. He's able to farm up his jungle relatively unbothered. And that feels good if you're a Chaos Knight.
It does,
especially because the matchups against him are not that incredible. They do have some AoE later, obviously, with Monkey King, his ulti or his stun. They have some other ways to deal with him a bit, but the fact that he doesn't have the most hard counters means that the game should be okay for him. So far, it's definitely just been Nightfall being as aggressive as he wants to be. He's done a great job.
He's super tanky, you know, he has that Hood of Defiance, he's got the IO to back him up. It's pretty difficult to do too much damage to him without dedicating, you know, several heroes. And I think that's something that's been interesting too, the guys have been talking about, is like when you get to a certain point when it takes, you know, 4 heroes to take down, you know, one of these one of the enemies, is it even worth it at that point?
Only if it's an easy rotation. Like, if he's like near you and everybody can like move, you know,
1,000
units, get the kill, go back to where you're doing, then it's great. But
if he's playing reasonably
okay, or he has a ward anywhere, yeah, good luck.
And speaking of the wards,
they still haven't gotten that observer ward from before here.
Just seems like both
teams are just dodging each other a bit while still getting their farm. Obviously, Nightfall is being very aggressive and looking at enemy heroes and trying to get them to react to him.
But he's just doing this
as wall creation. He wants his opponents to try to go for a kill on him because he knows he's so difficult to kill right now.
And Gunner's just
trying to finish Blink.
Marana here in the top lane. They'll even use the Dream Coil just to make sure that they get the kill. Over in the mid lane, though, Wukong's command getting dropped. They want Nightfall, and this time they will take him out.
It only took 8 abilities.
Who cares?
It started with
You've got the creep there too, you know.
Dragon Tail Sun, CM abilities, then Beastmaster followed up, and Costabile TP'd into the tower to ulti. So that's how they were able to get it. During those stun duration, Monkey comes in with his javelin. Solid game so far, 2-0 and 0. Working towards Witchblade, about 600 gold away. Once he gets that, then his single third damage is going to be a lot more impressive. But for now, the only really easy people for him to kill are Crystal Maiden, really. He can, for everybody else, he has to combo with an ally, so this is one of the weaknesses of Puck, certainly at this phase of the game.
Now they are smoked up on the side of EG, and they know that they have people over here on the side, so it appears that they're going to set up, see who wanders into their hands. It is, of course, Moo. Gonna show himself first. Arteezy going forward with that pull back. Get the stomp off. They've got the dust, and they need a little bit more damage, though. Not gonna be able to quite find his gunner. Joining back in, sees the opening over onto IO. Do some of that fire, and they'll take out Fly, and they'll follow up, and this is not looking great for EG here. I don't think they were expecting this, because they'll end up losing crit.
Really good TP
by Arteezy, though. He ends up staying alive.
Yeah, he almost ends up
looking really dangerous.
The Marana gets the
ulti off, that gives Gunner in melee position, gets the follow-up, and then the IO went out, he was screwed. The arrow was going to land on him no matter what there.
Nice reaction
there by the Nouns.
Little stun.
Shackle does not land, unfortunately. A little bit delayed there by crit, but you don't really know how long the Chaos Bolt's going to last, so he just underestimated a little bit. Great breathe fire hitting 3 heroes too. That was really nice. Damage maximization, but Arteezy realizing he needed his teleport. Those were really nicely played.
Was it like 100 HP or something? My gosh.
And the Centaur stun almost got him too. It was very, very close.
But they got Blink on Gunner now,
so the team fights are going to be even easier. That is why they're going for a smoke. They're only 400 gold away from Spirit Vessel on Marana as well, so it's all going to be Blink, stuns, arrows with CM damage follow-up. So maybe freezing field is actually a big deal this game, because that is one way to do damage. They just got to get him in melee range or close range after he gets that first stun.
Yeah, the timing seems to be pretty good. That was a big thing I know you mentioned earlier, making sure that Mirana gets that early vessel, puts it appropriately on the right heroes, especially the IO and the Timber, and just try to slow them down a little bit.
It's one of the best.
It's one of the best damage items, certainly, from what a support can buy.
Dagon,
Dagon, I don't think that item has ever been meta outside of buy Spirit Vessel. Stops their healing, deals damage. You can use it to heal your allies too if you want. It's just so multi-purpose in comparison. So good against these heroes. And Timber is very close to his level. So playing around that Dispel is going to be one option that you can go for.
As long as he's the front.
As long as he's the front liner.
And he's very close to it.
It was pretty funny earlier during the Western European DPC. I remember Sheaves was watching a game. She's like, why hasn't anybody bought a Spirit Vessel? If this was my pub, everyone would be so angry. In this case, though, you know, we've got Spirit Vessel getting prepared for both sides. So they are prepared here in NA. They know what's good.
Yeah, some games it just kind of depends, right? Some games they want to get that Wraith pack, because other games it's Spirit Vessel because they identify what they need a little bit more. But it's sometimes just a plan around the team fights. If they think they have a team fight disadvantage, and they're like, okay, maybe we need Wraith pack. That'll do more. So those and you can only choose like one or two items sometimes. And maybe you make the wrong mistake, buy the wrong item. But teams just doing their best, making their best decisions. And Spirit Vessel to get nerfed. Don't forget about that either.
True. Blink forward over onto Nightfall. Freezing Field gets used. Fly trying to do the best he can to keep him alive. So the Eul's coming into play, followed up with a Dream Coil. Good roar though coming out. We'll slow them down, buy them a bit more time. They drop the Wukong Smith. They still have not managed to kill Nightfall though. He's still alive, although he's just ticking. And over on the side, Abed is going to be able to make it out time. No, he is going to get clicked down as they're chasing. Is Gunnar have that blink up? No, it was close. Sit back up again if he decides he wants to go for this dive. He's looking to see who he can grab, but will find himself a crit. Follow up with a nice arrow from Z-Freak and some wild axes. It's going to be Husky who gets the final hit.
That was really nice
fight by the Nouns there. RTC did a great attempt there to block the arrow with his illusion and barely missed it. But ultimately they keep Timbersaw alive. It looks like they're able to get out, but then Costabile catches the puck with his ultimate and his stun. And then they frostbite him afterwards. While Puck is okay against Brute these days, because you can still phase shift against it, he's still relatively low level. He was not able to get out of there afterwards. And that kill opens the map up big time for Nouns. That was Chaos Knight's ultimate to get another kill on the map, plus the Wind Ranger. So they're just doing a great job by utilizing all these stuns, and they're constant fighting due to the CM aura.
Big smoke coming out now from the side of Evil Geniuses. Don't have their Timbersaw here, but they're on the hunt and making their way towards this mid-tower area.
And the
17-minute mark happens, and the first drop they get is the Philly Stone for Crystal Maiden. That's kind of a big deal.
Finding the Mirana. It's like this is going to be their sacrifice, so don't have to worry about Z-Freak as they put the pressure on the tower. Use the fortification though, coming out from the side of Nouns, and they have their own smoke going on here.
Yeah, they're coming to defend this. They've got shard on Dragon Knight. They've got a good damage.
They're swinging around pretty wide here. They can get the jump. Gunnar, pop the dragon form, looking for the opening. Manages to land over on the Fly, but he's going to need some help as they draw right back in. Good roar again, coming out from Moo. Fly will fall. They'll find Artesia. They'll kill Nightfall and Abed. Look at the way that Nouns just approached that fight. My God. Crit is left over here on the side. This monkey is not going to let him get out, though. The hop forward here from Z-Freak, and that's a team wipe on Evil Geniuses.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to click the fight recap, because I feel like this was CM. It wasn't that much decent damage, 1200, but it was just a lot of AoE from the Nouns lineup, and it caught everybody on EG. It felt like it was like the axes come through, the dragon fire. Look at that, so much damage coming out from Gunnar there, the whole fight, and then CM multi comes out. That's gonna be lowering their attack speed and their movement speed. They just all die. Great disable, and tons of AoE damage from the Nouns side.
You just hear all those explosions during the replay there of the Crystal Maiden multi, among other things. But
I feel like it was tons of AoE, and I feel like what Nouns is doing really well is they are initiating fights with Gunnar. He's finding the disable that was set up by the Hawk by Moo, by the way, that spotted the IO, and then they're turning this into Monkey King having really good ultimates and initiations. That's so important for this hero to scale well, and that's why his net worth is so high, because he's able to follow up on these disables to add more damage to the fight and keep his net worth growing, so he can actually be a decent competitive hero against the Chaos Knight.
They're aiming to do,
and that's what they're aiming to do.
Yeah, they're smoked up over on the side of Nouns, but one of the things I'm really loving is the way that they're moving around the map, right? Because right before that fight, you had Moo, you had Husky. They were making a wide sweep around, and of course, you know, Gunnar, he jumps in with his face. It looks very scary for half a second, like he's not going to be able to do anything there because he does get dragged back by the reality rift. But then Moo, just because they did this wide sweep, is able to land a great roar. And there we go again, the jump forward over onto Nightfall. They drop the fireball. Heals will come into play. Wait patiently to get a nice stop off with the frostbite, followed with the Crystal Maiden ulti.
They got him.
They get him. And this Io Fly is going to be coming back to a world of hurt.
They're approaching these ganks so well. I mean, that's a blink from Dragonite. But at the same time, they're running in the Centaur creep to anticipate the stun follow-up. And he also is very careful. He did not waste that early. The Eul's comes up, that guarantees the follow-up stun. Everybody gets the lane of the damage afterwards. Really nicely executed there by Moo. This is a hero that he's been famous on ever since he had his amazing performance at TI6, getting second place. This is one of his star heroes, certainly. He's really shown it here.
Chris gotta be very careful. We can see the way that they're moving towards this mid tower on the side of Nouns. Drop at the fireball, and they have the creeps to tank a bit. You know, they have that extra lockdown if needed.
Did you
see what Moo bought? He bought Aghanim Scepter as the second item.
Oh boy.
Very cool.
Very cool.
He wanted more. They need more damage. That was a fact, right?
Rather than go like Forest stuff, he's like, screw it. I'm gonna just
buy Ags,
and I'm gonna throw way more axes. It's more AoE. It does amplifying damage, which is gonna work great against CK illusions. Illusions typically do bad against AoEs in that sense. He's gonna better be able to deal with these CK illusions. And if CK illusions are dead, Chaos Knight doesn't really feel that scarce in comparison. They clearly have the solutions against Timber as well. Nouns are in a really good spot right now with the last couple fights have gone.
Yeah, really impressed with the way that they've itemized and again those map movements. They're just moving extremely well as a team.
Even by Navail and Crystal Maiden, they're just trying to amplify their damage and just roll over EG right now. Pulling the mid wave, they want to threaten high ground with this Aegis that they have.
You can see that Abed is just trying to, you know, do a little bit of split pushing, try to make someone respond, back off, get some of that heat off at the towers. And do have one teleport that goes back. Not someone that he can really deal with super well, but he's achieved his purpose and he's going to rejoin the rest of the team.
Yeah, they're still doing a really good job playing aggressive on the map. They basically haven't left this area in quite a while.
Haste!
They still have that Aegis for quite a while, so it's very hard for them to get in here. CEG has taken up residency in their triangle area. They want to try to protect Arteezy, make sure he can keep farming in Abed. He's the only one really on the team who's going to be able to do this, because if they do send over Nightfall, they do have the options of being able to, you know, disable him. Puck has a much better chance and able to try to push out the waves, but you just have to be careful.
That's the one good thing for Abed, is that it takes at least 2 heroes to kill him right now, with the exception of maybe Monkey King channeling an ulti over him and then stunning. That's like the only way that he dies to a solo hero right now. So he's relatively safe to do this annoying split push stuff because he knows it's going to take Zoomers, or sorry, 4 nouns. Is that how many nouns are there, Moxie?
There's, I mean, they're pronouns, they're names. They're doing a lot of verbs.
Does Y count as a noun?
Y count as a noun? I can't remember.
There are 5 nouns.
Those aren't nouns. Those are vowels.
Vowels. I'm way up. Other word things.
Yes. We'll have a grammar lesson later. But yes, the nouns, as they are now known as, formerly the 4 Zoomers. They are making some very nice plays and movements. And there it is. There's the item completed that has been in every single person's pub, it feels like. The Wraith Pact. Abed, again, continuing just to try his best to cut waves, make some space. But it is getting smaller and smaller here on this map. And they even have an early gem as well that they picked up. I believe Moo's holding on to it, so this vision game is just super good coming out from the side of Nouns.
It is. And interesting that he opted for a Wraith Pack over upgrading Helmet Dominate. You cannot do both without stacking your Vlads, but it kind of makes sense. The upgraded helm, it's not really that incredible these days, frankly. It makes your creep better by a bit, and you get an ancient, but most ancient creeps are pretty passable. He'd rather play around with this like Centaur instead. It has a lot more offensive viability than a slightly better defensive aura. So I think this is a cool choice.
They missed
their grab near the Tri-Camp earlier, but they still have great map control, and they're really showing the value of their lineup right now.
They realize something's up. Gunner, smoke will break.
Hard to go in there. The Hawk spots the ward.
But they don't see if there's heroes up there or not.
Bed just hiding right around this tree area. It's difficult to get his hands on, but they'll poke a little bit over here at Arteezy. Gonna try to go and pull him out of here. Can they? No. Fly is left all by him lonesome, and Nightfall trying to move over into the base. Not gonna be able to quite do it. This is looking scary now for Fly. They have so much damage. Even that mech cannot save him. The Centaur will tank a little bit of that tower. Nouns is just taking care of business.
They're doing really well
even
here.
Even if they didn't kill Arteezy there, Costabile catches the IO on the back stun, so interrupts his ability to relocate anyway. So next fight that happens, no reload either. Abed's still doing the same thing, split pushing, trying to get something done on the map, but Nouns continues accelerating it.
You know what's crazy? And I feel like T-Gov is going to be very excited about this because he likes this hero so much. You like this hero too. Chris Maiden hasn't died once.
He's been doing really well.
He's playing near his allies.
Great, yeah.
I mean, this really
is the value of the hero. She is a tempo hero in a lot of ways. You might not seem like it because you're like, she's vulnerable and slow or whatever. But your purpose is to be there to cast your very low cooldown abilities multiple times in a fight if you can. It just doesn't really happen in a conventional game. And she's not a very good ganker either. So that playstyle doesn't really suit her very well. By the time anybody gets a single defensive item, her skills feel weaker. But if you keep the tempo up constantly like this, it works really well with her aura as well. So it kind of, this is basically how you should be playing this hero if you can. You want your laning stage to go decently well, and you want to pressure constantly like this.
More pressure being applied here, so push in the mid wave. It's just, the map has gotten so small for Evil Geniuses to get out there, and they need Arteezy to farm. He needs more items, and they just can't find the breathing room. And again, with that early gem too, with having all the vision coming out from the Beastmaster, it's impossible for them to get out. And they'll go for a smoke here, but it's going to be very difficult for them to approach.
Nouns is playing really well. Like they're far overperforming what we expected out of them. Even though EG underperformed at the major, they still did quite well in the last DPC season. The one before that, okay, they had some issues. Maybe they didn't look amazing last one, but a team like Nouns, EG wouldn't have had trouble with them. But they're struggling this game. It's looking really good for Nouns. They do try to get Chaos Knight on the map a little bit to split push here, but Nouns also moves over and catches that wave, so now they don't feel safe hitting it.
Cut down the tree over on Costabile. Follow up. There's Crystal Maiden nearby, but Crystal Maiden can only do so much, so they'll end up losing that. And the Yules will come into play over on Crystal Maiden, interrupting that ultimate, the drag back. She will get killed as Gunner following up again. They want this kill on Nightfall. They've got Vessel charge on him. He cannot Timber Chain away fast enough as they drop the Dream Coil. And look at the damage. The crit's coming out. They should be able to finish off Moo. Gunner trying to find an opening, trying to put a little bit more damage up with the shackle over onto the creep. Oh my goodness. Still, he's so tanky. It's difficult to get the kill. So I continue to plink away. Z-Freak looking for the opening, trying to do whatever he can, but he has run out of options. He's run out of teammates. He's got one leap charge left, and he's hoping that he can escape. They can see him up there, and oh no. He's not going anywhere but to the grave.
What an amazing fight for EG though. They finally find a fight on the map, getting out there with the smoke, and they're able to kill the Monkey King first without using BKB. That was the crucial thing. This power shot nails them. That was all crit. That gives them the damage follow-up with the Spirit Vessel. They get a follow-up stun as well, and they're able to burst him without his BKB. And then at that point, Nouns is basically committed to the fight. They're like, well, we can probably still win this. They clear up the CK illusions really easily. Yeah, they killed the Timbersaw as well, but ultimately, this is where things get a little bit rougher. The Beastmaster's used all of his abilities. CK's still alive, and Dragon Knight's doing some damage, but he can't stop everything. And then he just gets hit by like a billion stuns and silences, so he doesn't even get to cast his Fire Blast either. So things got a little bit one-sided at the end. And now still ahead, but only ahead by about 4K.
I wonder how much of that is based off of the fact that they got the jump on Nouns first, right? Because I feel like a lot of the times we're seeing Nouns have that initiation. It's set up quite nicely. They're in the position like they want, because, you know, it felt like a fake one, right? In the mid tower earlier on, where you can see EG, they start to get aggressive, but they have already kind of swooped around, anticipating the sort of movement, and then they solidified that victory. So how much of this? Oh, again.
You're right. You're right. It is all about the initiation.
Here we go. The initiation coming up. Gunner goes for the BKB. Follow up here. Can they finish them all fast enough? Yes, they can. That's going to be a dead Arteezy. They were hoping that they'd be able to teleport him out. Now Fly's left alone. A couple of hits coming out for the side of Nouns. That is one dead ball of light. And the Roshan is now open and available here for Nouns.
And they make it.
I didn't see if Gunnar had vision or not, but he jumps in. They stun the CK, and this is one of the weaknesses of the hero. If you can chain stun him, by the time he gets his ultimate off, his illusions might be low, or he's still low himself. That he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable hard committing to a fight. The relocate doesn't save him. They do enough damage, and once again, it's all about initiations in this case. Definitely better for Nouns typically because of how many stuns they have. So great fight for them, especially now that they got a free shard, and they actually put it on Monkey King. A little surprised.
Yeah, get that little bit of a mischief upgrade.
And longer
invulnerability period no longer slows him and disjoints projectiles. So I feel like I don't think I've ever seen a team prioritize this, but Costabile must be happy with it. He wants it. Who else doesn't have one? It's Mirana, CM, or Beastmaster. So
I feel like CM could potentially, you could argue a little bit. I don't think we're gonna see the Mirana one.
If CM
already had BKB, totally agree. But if not for BKB, it's tough because any Yule Scepter, Puck Silence, Shackle from Windranger, Chaos Knight Stun, it's just going to get interrupted right away anyway. So maybe just a rare case where it feels worth it for Monkey King.
Oh, they're hoping they can get Puck here. I'll bet he's very, very difficult to get your hands on. They'll throw out a couple spells, throw out a casual arrow, seeing maybe they'll get lucky, but it's so hard to get their hands on this little fairy dragon. This is exactly what Abed needs to do.
It'd have to be Gunnar initiating the stun probably to catch him. So this is hurting their net worth a little bit certainly, but on the bright side in the meantime, Costabile is still farming at a really high pace. He's got a massive net worth advantage over RTZ, and RTZ in a lot of cases is just forced to use his ultimate all the time to farm because that's the only safe way for him to get net worth. So even if the fights do start, it might favor Nouns anyways because CK is a bit limited. They might spot crit here.
Yeah, they're definitely hunting. Split up a little bit, but like you said, they find crit. Thanks to that Moonlight Shadow. There's a couple people still moving around here on the top lane, perhaps hoping to cancel out teleports, but pressure's on now. And they do have a Timbersaw, so they should be able to clean up the creep wave relatively easily, unless they do a little bit of a sidestepping action. Still have that one creep there, and the follow-up here with the BKBs. But it's a little bit scary right now. All right, still alive. Drag back up with Reality Rift. All right, that is the Aegis. They'll jump back in with Gunnar, drop the fireball over onto the ground. But there it is on the back lines. They get a nice Dream Coil, and Mirana is stunned. So with E-Freak having to be careful. Abed poking and prodding, trying to find this opening. It's just too difficult, though, for them to go high ground right here, right now, especially after losing the...
He accidentally axed on Costabile when he's on trees. So if EG was chasing in that exact moment, it would have been really bad for now. But you're exactly right. It was really difficult for them to kill Timbersaw. EG forced the fight when they knew Nouns was still spread out, so that was a good opportunity to go for that.
EG realizing that they have an opening right now. If you use some of those bigger ultimates, they're gonna go in for a full invasion. And they find themselves Husky, who just absolutely pops. Nightfall, seeing if he can catch anyone here, but they've already just vacated the premises. You still have Moo hiding on the tree line. They might know he's here. In fact, they're hunting. Yeah, they find him. They absolutely find this Beastmaster. Can even get the shackle. And that's another kill here for Arcteezy.
Yeah, they spot him.
With this lane ward that they placed earlier in the top lane. So EG still finding ways back into this game, doing a great job trying to exploit the lack of BKBs that Nouns have and kind of rely on, to be honest. If they don't have BKBs, it's a lot more straightforward for EG to get these pickoffs with CK and Windranger and other heroes.
Get the Aghanim Scepter completed for Dragon Knight, so more items coming out. Looks like Timbersaw is working on his own BKB, which seems pretty important when you consider the lockdown. Again, you still have to be careful because of Moo with that roar. That could be something that really slows down your momentum in these fights, but definitely feels, again, whoever gets the initiation on who here comes out on top.
Yeah, Roar is definitely
very solid. They do have a Lotus on Timber though, so if they get that on the guy that's getting chain stunned, they can offset things a bit. But now with that Eggs on Dragon Knight, more magic resistance for him, free pathing as well. It'll be easier for him to maybe spot some of those supports on the back line. Team's also very close to BKB, so casting her ultimate is gonna feel a lot safer as the fight continues. And other than that, also an eggs on Monkey King too, so he's got lots of clones and even more damage.
See that Crit's trying to get any sort of information he can to spot out Moo and Gunner. I see multiple heroes here. Gunner pops dragon form. Gonna search to see what he can find.
Just does the safe thing.
Does the safe thing to take the cliff because they were scared to move into this area of EGS vision. So
he's super
survivable at this point. Very hard for him to be killed. The only guy that's a major damage issue maybe is the Timbersaw with the pure damage. But if it's magical or physical, Dragonite is very survivable, especially against the CK. Normally is physical damage and minus armor. But since his network isn't that massive, Dragonite is definitely the safest guy to go do these movements. So Nouns definitely playing more of a regular Dota game at this point. They've lost enough heroes that they can't just like try to cheese out an early Rax. But it's still very much about initiation. Who gets to jump first? A lot of the time that's going to come from mat movement. That's why once again Abed is split pushing constantly. He doesn't want to let them feel able to do this like high ground thing. So instead he just split pushes towers all the time.
A little bit of mirroring movement here. CRTs has made his way over to the triangle, and Nouns kind of combing through over here. There it is. There's the BKB completed for the Crystal Maiden. So they have the potential for this team fight, and they've made their way towards this bottom area after doing a sweep.
Radiant are scanning.
That was the obvious real CK.
Okay, all right. Well, they'll find themselves a quick pick. Don't have to worry about crit this time around.
Was a little
expensive for Nouns to go for this move, but it gave them an opportunity to take a fight that their opponents probably didn't expect because they knew they dewarded a lot in that area, so they were able to teleport across the map. They're clearly the team that wants to force these fights, right? Because if they get the initiation in these weird places, they've got some nice kills. So once again, you're just gonna go the opposite way in the map. Avoid where Nouns was just playing, get a little bit of opportunity, look for a grab, and then they'll take a fight. And that did cost them Moonlight Shadow as well. That's part of the value. Part of the reason they were able to even get that pick off. So not the worst for EG as they retain some more ground.
It's pretty impressive the way that they have been able to regain some of their real estate along the map after Nouns. You know, they had a pretty sizable lead early on and were making sure that they could not leave that base area unless they were moving as 5. But things have shifted a little bit here, so perhaps they can make something happen. Although they do have quite a few creeps here in the base. They might wanna adjust to.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. One value of the Pseudo Chen from the Beastmaster, pressuring out the bot lane. Great creep for it.
Helping off. So
with Puck is supposed to be Husky in a bad spot though.
Ooh, it pops the BKB.
Is under attack.
Looking to get the Frostbite up over onto Nightfall. Goes for the ultimate, but they're just gonna vacate back here. It's Costabile finding himself. Nightfall drops the Wukong's command. He does have the BKB that he's already used. His gunner on the back line will be able to take down Flea. They'll turn their attention right back in. Abed was poking. Husky is going to pop. So a little bit of a trade-off here. Both the supports falling on both sides, and some big ultimates used in the meanwhile.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake.
There by Husky to go check for that cliff ward without his teammates being so close. Either he didn't expect EG to be up there, or he felt safe to do so. But if that fight started a little differently, like Windranger stunning him instead without him getting BKB off, maybe it feels a lot harder for Nouns to take that fight. But they regain control of the cliff. They end up killing the ward up there. They still have gem, I believe, on Gunner. So.
And he's transitioning into a Manta style.
Curiously.
What do you suppose for that?
I mean,
silence removal is okay. He can dodge some stuns, maybe like CK stun. When he makes illusions, I think they can apply a lot of the attributes. I don't think they apply slow, but they'll apply the damage. Maybe it works with splash as well. I don't know, maybe there's some super value here that I am not sure about, but whatever. It's attack speed. That part's not terrible on Dragonite certainly.
Smoke up play from EG. They're looking to maybe go into this high ground area. It's a little bit scary here. Gunner. Or pop the dragon form. They have the Lotus Orb being placed over onto Nightfall. No one seems like they want a hard commit on this. Abed, a lot of vision, just takes down the Hawk, takes down that sentry. Arteezy starts blinking around over here. He's a little bit separated from the rest of the team.
I mean, it's all about rush right now.
Yeah.
25 seconds.
5 seconds to go for that, so they're just looking for pickoffs there. If any one hero dies in your advantage, Roach is more or less yours, unless your opponents find a great fight. Aiming for those. Keep these waves pushed out. Play around Roach. They're going to send a boar into pit. So a little easier for Nouns right now to play around this.
They still have about a 78% win rate. Well, what is it called? The win probability. Yeah.
Roach gets scouted. He does kill one of the boars.
That limits the Noun vision, but Gunner's ready to go in.
Waiting patiently, has some of those illusions to kind of push back here.
This is cool. He's using it for vision.
They can fly
anywhere.
They can fly anywhere
because of his ags, so he just flies them onto cliffs and stuff. Up hills. He's using them just for vision, which is perfect because that's what you need as a Dragon Knight, right? Spot where they are, then jump stun it.
So yeah, maybe
it's an expensive damage item that doesn't make him do that much more damage. But look at this, straight up to the cliff.
Hey, there's the enemy heroes.
There's a jump forward again. It's Nightfall. First one to get jumped on. BKBs get popped. Wukong's gets dropped, but able to pull him out here just in the nick of time. That's big ultimate that got used.
They see puck.
Drop the wind. They should be able to get the kill on fly here. Wait patiently, and yeah, Io, he's gone. They see Arteezy over here, and he's going to turn back around. Just absolutely obliterates Husky. Costabile, he goes, he drops yet another one of these Wukongs. They have a buyback coming out from the Io. They've managed to go and lock down Nightfall. He's going to try to timber chain away. They need just a little bit more damage, and there it is. All right, the axes will connect, as they'll be able to get rid of the timber. And Husky did buy back during this, so we go right into the pit.
It is a refresher
shard, though. No ags,
but still
decent on the Nouns side. A lot of their abilities are very valuable here. Once again, popping the Manta for vision control. He's just trying to catch any EG heroes that are playing in the area. It looks like Nouns doesn't feel that comfortable committing to Roach, though. I guess that is one negative.
Abed is scary.
Abed is scary, but they don't have the best damage, and a lot of it's about Monkey King, really. Maybe they're hoping for one more pickoff. Maybe they should be trying for it, but they don't feel comfortable with just Timbersaw
being dead.
I feel like there's a couple ways to kind of snatch that Aegis, though, and they're a little bit nervous, perhaps.
They're almost spotting
crit.
They'll see him now.
Yeah, they will indeed find him. They've got the Frostbite arrow, and that's the end of crit. So that's another pickoff. If they want, they could potentially try to make something happen with this Roche. It does feel like they were a little bit shy about it earlier.
Hey, they got their
pickoff back. No buyback for crit. He's 98 gold short for this, so Roche will fall. Aegis going to Nouns. A refresher shard. All very valuable items here.
Shard going to move.
I like that, actually. Double BKB for him, double roar.
He's been on point with these roars too. Like, to be quite honest, it's a very, very value for him.
It definitely is really good. At this point,
Arteezy's damage still is okay, but hasn't really changed that much. He's got a Scotty, so he can offset some heal and some regen, gives him some generic stats. He's gonna have an AC next. Fine item, but not really the kind of thing that you think of when you're like, man, that's really gonna change the game in terms of his damage.
I mean, it's been impressive how long that EG has hung in there, because now, again, they had a pretty commanding lead early on, and you could see that EG was struggling to get out on the map, but they found their opportunities. Abed playing his hero very, very well, realizing, hey, I have to go, I have to split push. Gunner doing a little bit more reconnaissance over here, does see Arteezy, but...
He's doing a great job.
Great job.
But, you know, it's just illusion versus illusions right now.
Looks like they are applying slow actually from the Manta illusions. It's really powerful. Damage per second, and doing the basically all the bonuses. It's really powerful. You can think of them like boars from Beastmaster. Really, just spread them up and put one on each hero.
Top tower is under attack.
Being pretty patient on the side of Nouns here. Eventually, Gunner walking forward. They'll take down the tower. Easy. Looking forward. It's gonna clear. It is very hard to go high ground against something like a Timber, right? I mean, they have a lot of wave clear, so they have to get the perfect opportunity, it feels.
They had to get a
pick off first.
Puck Timber and
Wind Ranger, a lot of AoE. So
they definitely
want to go in, but it's just not something that's going to be simple here.
Right.
We're going to cut the creep wave a little bit with this Manta here once again.
This really does have that
Aegis with Refresher Orb, so he's got a lot of survivability here.
Gunner.
Dodges.
Yeah. Those winds coming in. That's nice start to the lockdown. Here's Costabile. He's going to go draw the Wukong. Faldo is just able to BKB Timber Chain away, but they're putting the damage. Look at all the monkeys everywhere. Oh my god. It'll be the fortification being used.
He's going to start the Michael in now.
Yeah, they get the silence off. It's a good opening, but again, they have the BKB, so they're turning back around. Drops that. Just rolling the side, and they're going to just hop away. Dodge a little bit of that damage. Abed, though, he's in pretty deep. He's chasing after this Monkey King, but they have to be careful here. The rest of the team can't jump as fast as him.
That was good escape.
There. Disjoints, and this is why the shard's actually kind of good on Monkey King. It mattered there. He not only dodged the damage from the CK stun, but it disjoints, meaning that CK stun isn't going to hit him in those cases. Normally it would not do damage, but still stun him, so that gets him out of there. When he jumps from the tree. I don't even know if you notice that he has the shard, to be honest. It's a very rare one, but it worked right there to allow him to disengage without having to use too many resources. So.
And Abed just continues to poke away. Crit was trying to find the opening here. Has to run. They do have the stun. They'll follow it up, though. And that's a lot of crit damage being put out over onto Gunner as Arteezy collects. And Crit's going to buy back. Wants to be back in the fight as Abed on the back line is trying to hold Moo into place, trying to just control him a little bit more. Is leashed up. Suddenly, it's a big area. Can they get off the stun? Can they get up enough damage to take down Arteezy? Is the question. As the Crystal Maiden also starts to dance for people. The is connecting. Yes, they'll be able to take down Arteezy. The chase is on after Nightfall. They'll try to get the shackle off. We'll be able to connect. Buyback coming out from Moo. Wants to be right back into this fight. They want Abed. He has been a thorn in their side. But they are just not able to find that kill.
Yeah, Gunner got
pretty wrecked there for once. It's like the only time all game that we've seen Arteezy able to ulti and do full damage to somebody without someone else mitigating it. Even if it's a Crystal Nova that lowers attack speed by 75, it's a big deal. And we finally saw Arteezy get to do damage. But ultimately, it was about Costabile cleaning up the fight when Arteezy took his second target move. His ulti was off, and he landed 2 boundless strikes on the Chaos Knight to clean up his illusions, and that's what allowed them to finally kill the Chaos Knight. Aegis has 29 seconds left, by the way, and ultimately Nouns didn't want to fight right there. They were able to kill Wind Ranger, I believe. Yeah, they did kill her in that fight.
It was a good grab.
By Gunner, but him jumping that far forward meant that he was far away from the rest of his teammates and wasn't able to stay alive when he got gone on.
Yeah, the absolute chaos in this fight with the way that it was split up, making it difficult to decide who are you focusing on and where are you going. And again, when you have something like a Puck, very difficult to get your hands on. He's constantly going to be dodging in and out of the fight, so you have to be very coordinated to be able to lock him down.
Yeah, they've done a good job. Abed's done a great job
avoiding all this trouble. But
still difficult for EG to take fights, but they do have some tools.
Wind Ranger landing stuns, CK getting kills. But this is that ultra late game where if CK's net worth isn't super high, he does struggle a lot.
It's all about his illusions.
If his illusions get killed,
then his damage output drops by like 4.
This is so hard here for the side of Nouns because they want to get their hands on Abed. They've even used the Moonlight Shadow multiple times now, but he has the gem that belonged to Husky, and he's just been able to take down a lot of vision. He's been able to get the jump and see people before they jump on him. He's doing a great job this game.
Now let's see him has
shard though, and the trickster cloak. He's got a lot of ways to protect himself. That'd be another great solution
against the CK
illusions. They just have so many of them. So many AoEs.
They have AoE
Dragon Tail stun, Fireball, Breathe Fire. He got the Breathe Fire damage reduction as well. So he typically buys a lot of strength items. They have so many good solutions against CK in this matchup, actually.
16k net worth lead at 48 minutes in. It's a bit of a longer game here.
Hexon Morana as well. I just saw that one.
Any good item?
Yeah, they've got good solutions, for sure. Dasher completed now for the Monkey King. And a smoke play coming out from EG. It's like they're going to try to venture out.
Hex on Nightfall as well as the other one. Lots of disables on both sides. Once again, the jump is the important thing. Gunnar gonna get some vision. Here with his dragons. In fact, look at the damage. Look at the damage he's dealing to his towers. 30 damage per second from the corrosive breath. This is like some cheese shit.
Oh, look at it. They scan.
Great way.
They know that they're smoked and hiding over here, Gunnar. Going forward, can't quite find the opening just yet. You have the sentry. Look at all the sentries they placed down. They're going to try to clean through here. It's the Manta coming into play. So fly some of that slow like we talked about. Get some more vision. Now successfully dodging back and forth here. Genius is trying to find that opening. Trying to perhaps take them by surprise, but they're pretty prepared over on the high ground.
I mean, Gunnar's owning, right? He makes them go back a little bit to defend their towers, and then he does miss exactly where they are when they're smoked. But when he gets counter-initiated, Manta dodges the shackle shot too. So if he gets stunned there, maybe a fight happens. Maybe EG commits. Doesn't happen. DK illusions are basically done.
This has to be such an annoying game to play if you're Evil Geniuses right now, just because you constantly have, you know, the Dragonite illusions just wailing away on your buildings. You have to go back and deal with them, and you never know when they're going to pop out.
It seems like they always do corrosive breath damage. That's the 30 damage per second to buildings. I don't know if that's all the time, if it's a bug, or if it's just like lasting when the ulti ends and they transform back to melee or something. But that part has been really effective with his illusions here. So use them for vision, pushing out creep wave a little bit. That's the real RTZ. They see enemy heroes.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And they continue to send those illusions, though. Go hit the towers.
Those ones are back, although it seems that the poison damage might go
opening over onto Artesia. Gleipnir gets placed, and they have the Lotus. Fly getting into position, has the Mac going to try to keep him alive. He's going to try to reload him out. Should be able to. As they go and they use the Chris Main ulti, you can see the power of that with the BKB, with the shard. But, oh, the Blink 4 coming out from Gunnar. Are they going to be able to finish off crit? Yes, they are. They'll find it. As now the pressure's on. They'll finish off this tower. Oh, they stun up the IO. This is not looking good here for Fly, as he's the next one to fall. That's a big radius being dropped with this Wukong stuff. He still has a refresher shard. He has a refresher orb. He is not done yet. If they come anywhere near, he's ready. Okay, Abed again poking through. Now they'll turn back around. That Gleipnir coming into play again. That good roar over onto Nightfall. Doesn't manage to stun Artesia. They'll get the kill. And they'll follow up another kill on Nightfall. Artesia buying back. Wants to be a part. They don't want to lose all these buildings, but they've already lost them as they make their way over to this top area. They want the tower. They've been so patient on the side of Nouns. They don't have Nightfall to hold them off. They don't have the Isle. They don't have the Wind Ranger. Nouns, they've been so patient. Oh no, Artesia. He's stunned Gunnar. He had his number here. The gas bolt does get tossed out. He's gonna have to go and teleport away. This is not looking good now for Evil Geniuses as they'll turn their attention over to those tier 4s. Abed again continuing to poke. They do have that refresher, the BKB over Costabile. He's gonna just pop it again, make his way over to these racks. And they're gonna finish cleaning up.
That's decent.
Abed's doing the best he can in the circumstances here. He kept them far away from Artesia when Gunnar caught him there. Maybe kill.
Yes, it's, I mean, he's BKB'd. It's alright. They do manage to find the kill here. Finding himself the IO will be able to finish off Fly. The route over into place for Artesia, but
Fundamentals, IO.
Nouns has had enough. They're satisfied with this. They've gotten the mega creeps. And they're just gonna walk away. There's a Roche up. There is a double damage rune outside of the pit. Everything is turning up perfect here for the side of Nouns.
Yeah, this is a good time to go Roche for sure. I mean, they basically burned all of their cooldowns, right? But it was too scary to play in the enemy base. They almost caught the Monkey King in that mid lane with the fast stun, but he pressed BKB in time. That basically opened things up. Now going down.
Did you get anything?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. He was trying, though. You saw him jump in there. Crit also throwing out those winds. Sees himself a Husky. But no, he'll back off.
They give the ags to CM. He hasn't eaten yet. Okay, he has now. Now we're gonna have fights going out. This is a position 5-0.
Costabile? No, that doesn't sound right either.
I'm gonna say Costabile.
Okay.
Because it's in my brain.
We will get it right eventually. I've been waiting forever. That and there's another South American player, Sladine. I'm not sure if that's how you technically pronounce it. I've always asked them, and they're like, just say it however.
No, that's not the answer I wanted.
No, just give me the actual pronunciation. But yeah, if anyone was wondering why It sounded a bit wacky, that's why. Deny the arcane rune over here, just in case, and honestly, Nouns are sitting very pretty right now. They just have to find that opportunity, get that initiation, and finish up the game. 34k net worth lead.
It's looking good for him. And they got Penta-Edge Sword on Monkey King as well. He's eating his own Ags. He's on cooldown with his Refresher Shard, by the way, because they just have so many of them.
That is actually pretty wild when you look how kitted out the side of Nouns is rolling at this time.
Puck utilizing Dagon actually as a late game item to buy. It's great, but also one-shots these Dragonite illusions that have been quite annoying. Pretty sad in a lot of ways that your mid puck has to buy a Dagon to counter a Dragonite Manta. Didn't think I would ever say that, but it legitimately matters. It's a free ward when it gets on the cliff, and here they come.
Here they come, yeah. Let's see. Freak just leaping forward here, trying to find this opening. Clean up the creep wave. Yeah, all right, Nightfall here. Going to put out the damage as they're just running through over. Yeah, they just killed Costabile. He's gonna have to buy back the Isle, though, not looking so good. Flea also buying Flybear, also buying back. They'll go right back in. Arteezy will fall. There's no buyback on the CK, and the damage is being dealt here to these towers. They will buy back on more heroes, though. See if they can push them out. Still have that Aegis online. Abed doing everything he can, but they actually go and they're just gonna finish off over on the towers. Their eyes are on the prize. They want this Ancient. They want this victory. It's looking like Nouns. They'll be able to do it, and they'll secure themselves game number 1 against Evil Geniuses.